I enlisted October of 2005. I ended up in Fort Bragg in May, and then July I was told that I would be deploying in a couple of weeks. I was going home for my last 4-day weekend to see my family before I deployed for 15 months to Iraq, and I was bringing my brother-in-law to work one morning, and was just driving down the road and had a really horrible car accident. And it ended up killing my brother-in-law and put me in the hospital and in a wheelchair for about 5 months. I came back to Fort Bragg and was basically told, you've been gone too long, so you're not gonna go see your unit. All my friends had left without me. I started to withdraw myself a lot. I started thinking that no matter what I do, no one's gonna understand. No matter what I do, everyone's gonna think I'm worthless anyway, so what's the point? I didn't see who I was before the car wreck. I saw this person who was responsible for killing another person, and not in war, responsible for killing someone who was very close to me. Physically, I started to feel all the symptoms that you would feel of being sick constantly. I started going to sick call 3-4 times a week with everything from nausea to couldn't sleep to whatever I could think of. The first few times I filled out the Respect Mill form, I lied, blatantly, just absolutely lied, because I didn't want to deal with the stigma of not being able to handle the stress and not being able to cope with something that small when people are going to Iraq and getting seriously injured. The first time they handed me the Respect Mill screening form, I was given a sheet of paper and said, fill this out. I had no idea what it was for. I had no idea why they were asking me these questions. I was just pretty much like, whatever. And I, like I said, I lied on the first one. And then after a while, after filling it out so many times, I finally was like, why not? And I answered honestly. The day before, they diagnosed me with, I believe, depression. At first, I was really nervous. When I finally started to get honest and I finally started admitting a lot of the things that I had been hiding, I was very nervous that they were going to call my chain of command and tell them that I was a loon, or they were going to basically put the stigma on me. When I got my first phone call from Respect Mill and I actually spoke to them, they seemed genuinely interested in what was going on with me. And at that moment, it felt like I was able to just release months and months and months worth of emotion that I had kept bottled inside because I was so afraid of what the repercussions of it would be. When I was finally able to just give up and let it go, it was so much more of a relief than I ever could have thought possible. The Respect Mill program itself recommended that I go see a doctor about possibly getting some medication. And then at the same time, they still kept up with the talk counseling. They still called and checked in on me. Getting better, feeling better took a little bit longer than I would have liked. It was very gradual. The first thing was that I stopped going to sick call so much. I didn't feel nearly as sick as I used to. I actually was able to cope with being in an office that I didn't necessarily like. When I really, really noticed it was the first time that I met Josh. If I were still having the depression issues, I would have run and hide and I would have never spoken to him. Josh and I were together for about a year before we got married. And it was awesome. It still is. Respect Mill changed my life. in numerous ways. I don't know where I would be. I certainly know that I would not be married. I didn't have enough love for myself before that. I don't know if I would be in the Army right now. Were it not for Respect Mill providers, I would not be anywhere near where I am today. And I honestly feel like I owe some of the happiest moments of my life and some of the best moments of my career to the Respect Mill program.